Elaine Bradley is the drummer in the alternative rock band Neon Trees. She's also a wife and young mother. Her story is one of courage and conviction. Courage to change her life and the conviction to stick with it, even when there's no end in sight.
Itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
She sounds like any other mom. Except every now and then, you hear this mother's music on the radio.
Kids probably think you're cool.
Yeah, I wish they would talk to me more, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still fear or feel fear before a big show?
Sometimes I feel anxious, like, oh, this is a big one, and this is exciting.
Don't
but
mess this
I
one
never,
up.
yeah, but I never feel like, oh, I can't do it. It's a big part of who I am, is getting to like entertain people and perform. It's very comfortable.
Courage is something Elaine Bradley has developed through the years, and her understanding of it has changed.
Music has probably been my greatest ally and my biggest downfall at times, depending on how I used it.
There was a time when Elaine played into the rocker stereotype and the lifestyle that comes with it, including resistance to recognizing a higher power.
You had some tough teenage years.
I did.
Took courage to get away from that. Took courage to go on a mission. Took courage to choose to move to Provo and go to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Took courage to join up with a band of some guys that you kind of knew.
I think what happened was courage got me to, do what I wanted to do and be in bands and pursue things, pursue sports and music the way that I wanted to. But I think trust is what got me to where I am now. Because up through the years where I just had courage, but absolutely no trust. In fact, I did not trust Heavenly Father. Yeah. I was like, I don't believe you want me to be happy, and I'm fairly sure that anything that I want, you're not going to let me have. So I'm going to do what I want. That was the courage that I had when I was younger. It was ridiculous, foolish courage. That decision to trust that there is a God and that He wants something from me, and to say it doesn't really matter what I want. What matters first is what He wants me to do. I need to trust that I will be happy eventually when I do what He wants me to do.
Elaine served an LDS church mission to Germany, where she met an elder named Bryce Taylor. He would encourage her to move to Provo, to play music with him, and through that friendship, she'd eventually end up playing drums in the band Neon Trees.
I thought I was like sacrificing or whatever, but really I was just opening doors.
You weren't dying, you were actually
I was in my cocoon.
Born again, so to speak.
I was, yeah.
Through that mission friend, Elaine also met her husband, Sebastian, and started a family.
How challenging is it to go on tour and be a mother?
It's pretty challenging, but I'll tell you what makes it not so challenging is having a husband that's on the exact same page. Honestly, he thrives being a stay-at-home parent. He loves the time he gets to spend with Bryce and the things he gets to do because he doesn't have to have another regular job. And I love my job. We exist in this perfect harmony where we're both very fulfilled.
The 14-year-old girl listening to this interview and listening to you, who's struggling to stand up and answer a question in class because she's afraid of being judged. Right. From your life experience, what's your pep talk to her? Oh,
you will be judged. You will be. And you probably will be laughed at sometimes. The things that you say are what's important, not how people react. You're going to feel fear. I don't not feel fear. I just decide to act anyway. And I think that's the difference between courage and lack of courage. And if you have something to say, you shouldn't let that fear stop you.
Good.
Bradley and Neon Trees debut their new album, Pop Psychology, later this month. They'll spend all summer touring Europe. Now to the words we use, whether it's the Vice President's office tweeting out an F-bomb acronym or folks on reality TV blurting out the Lord's name in vain. Profanity and vulgarity are pervasive. But as writer Mark Kellner explains, that doesn't mean foul language is widely accepted.
It seems
these days that a lot more people are comfortable using the names of deity, of God, and of Jesus Christ, for example, in a far more casual sense than they are some other vulgarities. Most employers say they'll think less of an employee who uses profanity and vulgarity. There are policies in place in some locations where if the student isn't disruptive, they aren't physically threatening someone, a teacher or an instructor has very limited ability to discipline a student over language. A lot of people believe, I talked with Barbara Nicolosi, who's a script doctor and teaches film, that using vulgarity in scripts is a lazy way out. Instead of creating creative dialogue and using language to really tell a story, dropping a few instances of this word or that word can create drama without as much effort on the part of the scriptwriter.
Time now for The Pulse, and we welcome back National Editor Allison Pond. There's a lot going on with kids and getting their shots, and quite the debate reignited. Why?
Well, there's a growing number of parents who are choosing not to have their children vaccinated on the schedule recommended by public health officials, and this has the Centers for Disease Control concerned. Recent measles outbreaks in New York, California, and Texas.
Especially California, 51 cases.
Yeah, and so, you know, there are a number of people who continue to believe debunked ideas about vaccines causing things like autism, but there's also an element of some people just don't trust either the government or pharmaceutical companies.
Another issue that affects the world we live in, women and selfies. And how are selfies putting them at risk?
Well, there's a new study that says that for American women, spending time on Facebook looking at friends' selfies and other photos is related to body image problems. The study showed that photos of friends actually had a greater impact than photos of celebrities or models.
All right, and then there's, of course, the study out that shows kids are driving parents crazy.
Yes, this one is a research brief from the group Child Trends that found that the proportion of parents who reported being aggravated by their kids rose from 20% to 35% between 1997 and 2007. And this can have real impacts for kids, and the kind of stress that they feel from their parents can really impact them on everything from health outcomes to school.
All right, a lot of studies, fascinating stuff. Allison, you can read more about these issues in depth online at national.deseretnews.com. The great Allison Pond, thank you for being with us. That's our report for this week on Deseret News National Edition. I'm Dave McCann. We thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day, and we hope to see you right back here next Sunday.